We're just days away from the NFL draft, and it's time for final mock drafts. This is the last one I'm putting out. This was my entry into the NFL media contest. We're going team by team. We're starting with the Kansas City Chiefs. Team coming off a Super Bowl run. Unfortunately, Super Bowl didn't go the way they wanted it to, but how do we get them back there? How do we do the best we can do to add weapons to Kansas City, build up that offensive line? I think I've done a pretty solid job, so here we go with Kansas City Chiefs. We start at number 31, Kenneth Grant, defensive tackle out of Michigan. This kid's a big dancing bear. You just got to get the effort with him. You didn't always see the effort, but he had Mason Graham on the inside of him. In Kansas City, he would have Chris Jones, so I think this is a nice spot for him. He's built like a nose tackle, but I don't think that he is. He really plays like a three-tech because he's not the run clogger necessarily that you would want him to be. He's good against the run. He's just not the average 330-pound guy. I think he will be a good player in the NFL. There is a possibility that the Chargers and Jim Harbaugh would take him earlier in the first round, but I'm getting less and less sure that that's actually going to happen. I think there's a good chance that Kenneth Grant, some of the running a little cold tape seems to have pushed him down, but in terms of high upside, there are very few players in this class that have the upside of Kenneth Grant, who I take to Kansas City here at number 31. 63 in the second round, we go another BDD, that's a big damn dude, Aireontae Ersery, 330-pound offensive tackle out of Minnesota, another big dancing bear. I don't completely think that Kansas City is done with the offensive line. Rumors have been circulating over the last few days that they would be looking to trade up in the first round for an offensive tackle. If they are actually looking to trade up, they are going to find a partner, and they will get up to get whoever they want. I believe they really like Ersery, and I like Ersery. He's not a ready-made product. He's playing on the left side and the right side at Minnesota, but I think he is one of those players that can come in and play right away if you need him to. Ultimately, he gives you a nice safeguard with Jalen Moore and Jawan Taylor. No matter which one of them serve to be a problem, Aireontae Ersery could come in for them, unlike Kingsley Suamatea, who they took last year, who now will push into guard. Ersery does not really have that safe floor of guard. He plays a little too upright for me to think he could slide into that role, but I think he's a nice safe tackle with a super high upside. 66 in the third round, one of two third-round picks for the Kansas City Chiefs, Dylan Sampson, running back out of Tennessee. If this kid had not had the last, I'll say 6 games at Tennessee, he would probably have been a second-round pick and probably have been my 4th running back overall. Fumble issues crept in at the late stages of last year. I do not know where that came from. He had been one of the best ball security running backs that you've ever seen at Tennessee until he wasn't. And I think it was in his head, but he's got nice pop. Not as big of a guy as you would necessarily like. Kansas City Chiefs fans, I know you're going to have some Clyde Edwards-Helaire hauntings in your head because he is a shorter running back that played in an SEC school. Very different guys. The Helaire thing was more, he reminds me of Maurice Jones-Drew. Dylan Sampson is not that guy. He kind of reminds me more of like I'm trying to think of a smaller running back. He's got like Deuce Staley's body, but he's got Darren Sproles' pop. I love Sampson. I think he would be a nice addition, and he'll be able to help you in the passing game. He's not a great blocker because of his size, but I think he is a willing blocker, and that will be one of the only times you hear me say that all year long. Number 95, Jack Sawyer, edge rusher out of Ohio State. This kid has fallen like a rock solely because the athletic profile is not good enough. I think he has to play with his hand in dirt at the NFL level. I thought he could stand up at one time. I have completely changed my mind on that. His profile really kind of makes me think he's going to have a Sam Hubbard type of career, former Cincinnati Bengal that just retired, where he will do the grunt, lunch pail, blue-collar work, may never put up huge sack numbers, but I think he will be a nice piece of a rotation and would fit in nicely here with the Kansas City Chiefs. 1 pick in the 4th round, and then they drop all the way down to the 7th for 3 players that I know they just so happen to like. 4th round, Mitchell Evans, tight end out of Notre Dame. This kid is one of my favorite players in this class. Nice soft hands, big inline tight end build. The question is he athletic enough? And I'm going to be honest with you, he kind of reminds me of Travis Kelce right now. The hands are good. He's got nice nuance to his routes. He can get open even though he doesn't separate all that well. And I think he would be a nice fit with Kelsey this year, with Noah Gray moving forward as the tight end pieces in Kansas City. Then we have 3 later round players. These would all be special teams guys, depth guys, but they are guys that I know Kansas City's had in the building and guys that they have interest in. These might not be 7th round picks. These may be more guys that Kansas City would look to bring in as undrafted free agents. Brandon George, linebacker out of Pittsburgh. Melvin Smith, cornerback out of Southern Arkansas. And Philip Bleedy, defensive tackle out of Auburn. Every one of those guys has, I will say, dart throw upside of whether it's the athleticism. I really like Brandon George athletically as a special teams player. I don't know that he will ever turn into a real, honest-to-God defensive contributor, but I do think he profiles as a guy that will be able to play on special teams. Melvin Smith from Southern Arkansas, it's a huge jump in competition, but he absolutely dominated at that level. Kansas City has done a good job. Think Joshua Williams from Fayetteville State. They've done a great job of finding these smaller school guys that come in and play a role. And Philip Bleedy, of all the Auburn prospects that I saw that I thought would be drafted, he was not very high. But another position that Kansas City's done a pretty good job over the years of finding lower-level guys that maybe have athletic profile deficiencies that they find a spot for on the line. 7-round mock draft for the Kansas City Chiefs. Let me know in the comments how you feel about this video, how you would feel about this draft here for the Kansas City Chiefs, if there is another player that I should be looking at for Kansas City to select in the draft. I'm Jeremy Green of NFLDraft.net and ESPN Radio Asheville. We're live every single pick, 2025 NFL Draft from Green Bay, Wisconsin. We're on Radio Row the first 2 days. We're in a mansion up in Wisconsin for round 3. 5 of us deep, covering every pick of the NFL Draft. It's all yours live here in the Sportsocracy. Find me on Twitter at ESPN Draft Nerd. I will be giving out grades as we go over the course of the whole weekend. Thanks for checking us out. This was the 7-round final mock draft for the Kansas City Chiefs.